Hey soulmates, you're welcome back to class. So this is the sewing tutorial of this pattern drafting and cutting that we have already done. So I will advise that if you have not watched the pattern drafting, just go over to our channel and then you see the video before this and then you watch it and then come back to watch this one first. But if you have already done that, then let's just move on. So from the cutting, we've already cut out all our fabrics and all our lining. And this tool that I have on my screen now is like the center part. And remember that this particular waistcoat, of course, has a button allowance. So I'm just going to place this like so. And I'm going to bring the two sides and then add to it. Join it together as if you are joining your princess seam. You know when you are joining your princess seam, the center part and the side part. So I'm going to bring the side part of this front panel, you can see it, and then I am going to join each one to each center piece. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go over to my machine and I will do that and then I'll come back to show you. Hey guys, my name is Tekla, and if this is your first time coming to my channel, you are welcome. I will advise you click on the subscribe button so you do not miss out on wonderful tutorials that we have upcoming. Also check our channel to see some of the amazing tutorials that are very detailed. I promise you will learn a lot from there. So I have gone ahead now to join both sides. You can see what we have. I also did that on the lining. So I'm going to go ahead and use my lining to turn the front piece. I'm going to turn all the sides except the side part, which is the side that I will join with the back. This particular side part now, I am not going to join it, and then the up part of my halter neckline too, I am not going to join it. You can see the way I'm using my hands to show you the parts that I am going to sew. And while sewing this, I'm going to be adding hemming gum so that it will relax when I iron it. I don't want to iron it and then it won't be relaxed on all parts. So the hemming gum just helps me to like stick the main fabric to the lining together. So I'll also do that for the back. For the back piece, I'll just join it at the center and then I'm going to turn it with the lining. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it out from that place that I have my halter neckline. Remember that I didn't join the side. I told you not to sew the side. And then on my halter neckline, on the outer part of it, I didn't sew it fully. I just remained like about 3/4 of an inch that I'm going to use and join the two parts together. I'll just show you that in a bit. You can how I'm turning all my edges out. So you can see the right side of our waistcoat, the right side of the front, and then I'm going to also do the same thing on the left side. You can see the way I added hemming gum to every single part. The reason why I did this is so that when I iron it down, it will be able to stick together. So on the part of this my waist of my halter neckline, you can see that the outer part I didn't stitch it down. I left about 3/4 of an inch by the side. The other side is closed while the other side is open, so that it will help me to join the two halter necks together. You know when you are doing like an inseam kind of, Then I also went ahead to trim out all allowance and all of that, and then I'm going to go ahead now and turn this out so you see. Then at this point I went ahead to iron it. You can see how flat the sides are. The only place that I have open now is the side where I am going to use and join it to the back, which is this place that I just showed you now. So I am going to place the back on top of it. I am also going to close up my button allowance, which is 1 inch, and then I'm going to place the back on it. At this point you're going to determine whether you just want to shape the side, and then you just use your tape and take your allowance, your bust and your waist, and then you determine whether you want to weave it and join it or whether you want to do inseam finishing on it. So assuming you are taking the bust measurements, all you have to do is divide your bust by 2, place the measurements, and whatever you have remaining. For example, I'm taking it on my waist. My waist is 15.5 and I have about 3 inches remaining. So that means if I'm sewing my waist, I will use 1.5 inches to join on both sides. So you also do the same thing on your bust. But for me, I want to do inseam finishing. So I'm just going to bring 1 point of the armhole and join it together, 2 points of the armhole. I will stitch down the main fabric, and then I will also turn it to the other side and stitch the lining. If this will be stressful for you, just do it the normal way, but for me this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to measure what I have left on my bust, and I'm going to use that to stitch together. You can see the way I am keeping this. I'm doing it like this so that it will have like an inseam finishing. So I'm going to go over to my machine and do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you. So guys, our online classes is still ongoing, and then you can also reach me on WhatsApp, and if you have any question regarding this, please kindly drop it in the comments. So after doing that, we are now going to go ahead and join our halter neckline. I just brought the down part seam facing seam, and then I'm going to start there to stitch the one side, and then from there I'll stitch the other side. You can see the way I am placing it. So 1 point to the other point and 1 point to the other point. You remember that on the outer part of it we left about 3/4 of an inch down, so that this will help us to join it. So I've joined the down part, and this is what I had. So I'll just go ahead and fold in this remaining allowance, and I'm going to top stitch on it, and by that way you have already joined your neckline. Then for my rows, I also went ahead to cut the lining of exactly that same spiral that we cut, and then I just joined it with about 1/4 of an inch. I left one edge closed and one edge open, so I just turned it, and then I'm going to go ahead now and iron this properly. I've ironed it, you can see how it looks. Then the inside part, I'm going to go ahead and run a gather stitch on it and drag it. So I've already gathered it, and you can see what I have. So I'm just going to like pleat this down, so you see how we are supposed to achieve these rows on your jacket or on your waistcoat. So you can see the way I'm just doing this, and by this way you can easily achieve the rows. You can also make these rows however way you know you can use to make rows. So once you have this, you can use needle and thread to stitch it together, or you can sew it down on on your waistcoat. For mine, I sewed it down on my waistcoat, and that was just, you can see how fine this is already coming out. So once I was done, this is what I had, and it's just so beautiful. So thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Subscribe. Bye.